a child born today meet you after 20 years from now, so what kind of world he would be entering?
It will be a completely new world order with different career opportunities, new skill sets, and conflict of values. Values will be changed dramatically.
So what should be the education today?
Huh.
Type of education we need to provide to our children today?
Today's education must focus more on the non-cognitive skills. And when I talk about the non-cognitive skills, it means the skills of communication, problem-solving skills, decision-making skills, creativity and innovation skills.
Do you think that school should focus less on teaching children what to think rather than and focus more on how to think?
First of all, I think we need to develop a thinking culture in our schools. And the second, what type of thinking and how to think becomes very important.
So in education, what matters most? Accuracy, transparency or trust?
In any education system, whether we are doing for the pedagogy or we are doing for the assessment, the three things that is important, the one is the reliability, validity and the credibility. And it can happen only when you have put the trust. The trust is the most important thing.
So if you were entrusted for redesigning the education system of 2026, what would be the one thing which you want to remove? The future doesn't reward those who know the most. It rewards those who can continue learning when the world changes. Hello and welcome to Podcast Vibe with Neha. Every generation prepares its children for the future, but perhaps this is the first generation where the future is changing faster than our ability to predict it. Artificial intelligence is transforming industries. New careers are emerging while others are disappearing. Information is available everywhere, yet wisdom seems harder to find. And many of the jobs today's children will eventually hold may not even exist yet. So how do we prepare students, our children, for uncertainty? How do we nurture innovation without losing our value? And how do we help children become lifelong learners in the world of continuous evolution? To explore these questions, I'm truly honored to welcome one of India's most respected education leaders, former CBSE Chairman, educator, thinker, and reform advocate, Mr. Ashok Ganguly. Sir, welcome to Podcast 5 with Neha.
Thank you.
So it is our immense pleasure to have you here. Great honor.
Thank you.
We'll be talking about innovation and evolution in this uncertain world. So why do we have so much of uncertainty now?
Okay, Neha ji, as you know that we are passing through some of the most critical and exciting times in human history. It's a new world order. Today's students live in a world that is very different from the one which we all grew up in.
Absolutely.
So naturally, the way we have been taught and educated, the same thing cannot be repeated to this generation. Extraordinary change processes are happening at great speed. On one hand, there is accelerated pace of development in the field of science, including biology and technology. And on the other hand, as you have said, there is a radical transformation now in the field of work and employment. There are careers today which did not exist yesterday.
Yes.
Similarly, there will be requirement of skills tomorrow which do not exist today.
Yes.
About 85% of the existing careers projected to be unknown by 2032. So it is the utmost importance that we need to prepare our student not just for known pathways, but for uncertainty, innovations, and continuous evaluation.
Yes.
There are two words which is very important for this generation. One is innovations, one is creativity. In order to get success in a globalized world order and to grab most of the opportunities which the globalization is offering to them. But innovations cannot happen overnight or in a day.
Yes.
It is a process which needs to be sustained. Actually, innovation comes from imagination. And imagination comes from reading. So there is need for a focused reading, fast reading, early reading with comprehension, and it has to start from very beginning. And that is why you must be knowing that there is so much of focus on language and literature at the foundational stage as mentioned in the National Education Policy. So early reading, focus on reading very early stage will push for imagination amongst our students. And when the children are allowed to imagine in the classroom, that imagination will then lead to innovations. Okay. And then innovations and creativity will then further lead to entrepreneurial skills. And this entrepreneurship will then further lead to income generation later on in their life. And this income generation will then finally lead to higher quality of life and better quality of life. And that is the very essence of education. So we have to provide that. The teachers cannot say that we have no time because of curriculum load or because of extreme pressure on covering the syllabus, no time for the innovations and creativity in the classroom itself. Yes, I do agree with the teachers' concern also, because our entire academic process is restricted by clock and calendar.
Yes.
Okay. So they may not get time daily
Enough time, yeah.
to go for innovation and creativity in the classrooms. But can they go once in a week? Sometimes teachers say, not possible. Then can you do it once in a fortnight? Don't say. Across all subjects? Once you put something on a priority list, you can definitely implement it in the classroom situation. So what I am saying that if today's children, particularly the Indian students, have to grab most of the opportunities in a globalized world, they need to be prepared accordingly and appropriately. And the two most important thing that is more important is the innovations and creativity. See, the era of invention is over. Avishkar ka zamana ab khatam.
Ji.
Today there is wave of innovations. So I will always prefer that teacher must go for innovation, creativity in the classroom itself. And that is why this particular, I'm really, really very happy that you have taken up this very important topic, very contemporary topic actually. Must be the children must be, or the parents must be hearing these important things.
Absolutely, sir. And sir, when you say that fortnightly we can take, or once in a week, bagless days are there nowadays, and in that we take for each subject we have this innovative assignments and the projects for our children. How cooperative parents would be for this? Parents are unaware of the fact that how important these things are for the children. Parents are, because उनको इतना समझ नहीं आ रहा है कि यही है future. Parents are unaware of this thing, that this is the future of our education and our children. They are only prepared for this, the traditional kind of learning, कि बच्चा जाए, सीख कर आए, होमवर्क करे, घर आकर वापस, है ना, ये बाकी सारी चीज़ें जो MUNs हो रहे हैं, जो इतनी सारी चीज़ें होती हैं, स्कूल कितना कुछ इनकलकेट कर रहा है, पर वो पेरेंट्स तक नहीं पहुंच रही है बात, कि पेरेंट्स को वो नहीं पता कि ये सब इनिशिएटिव्स कितने ज़रूरी हैं फॉर द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द चाइल्ड फॉर फ्यूचर. उनको लगता है कि बस पढ़ाई करता रहे और 11th में जाके कुछ साइंस, कॉमर्स, आर्ट्स ले ले और फिर इंजीनियरिंग कर ले और डॉक्टर बन जाए मेरा बच्चा.
एक चीज़ मैं बहुत स्पष्ट कर दूँ
जी.
Cognitive skills may be required, but you know that half-life period of knowledge is reducing very fast.
Yes.
And I can tell you that every 6 weeks, knowledge is being doubled. So cognitive abilities लेकर, cognitive skills को लेकर, students cannot get success in tomorrow's world.
Yes.
Because whatever knowledge, whatever information we are giving to them, it is becoming obsolete in another week's time, another 15 days' time.
Absolutely.
So what is most important now in today's scenario, the non-cognitive skills have to be given to them.
Yes.
Cognitive skills and non-cognitive both have to be mixed judiciously. So we have to put it in this very structured process. You cannot do it, okay, tomorrow we'll be having the bagless day or tomorrow we'll be having this non-cognitive. No. It has to be put in a very structured activity. And say if you are having 45 periods per week, so we need to mention very clearly from the beginning of the academic session that this much of period is allotted for the non-cognitive skills, this much of period is allotted for the
Cognitive.
bagless day, this much of period is for cognitive abilities. So once we put up this thing very in a structured manner, and there is an appropriate parental orientation also,
Yes.
कि why these things are important. Otherwise, parents often believe that every child has to crack either JE, NEET, and the CAT examination.
Yes.
But
yes.
this is not possible.
Absolutely.
I do agree that every child is talented. I do agree, every child is talented. And but intensity of talent may vary from individual to individual. And when I say that every child is talented, that doesn't mean that every child has to become a doctor or an engineer or a management executive. It's not possible. Someone may not become either of three, and still the life can be meaningful.
Yes.
तो पेरेंट को बताना होगा हमें कि why non-cognitive skills is becoming important, because tomorrow's world will be a completely different world, and our students, we need to prepare our students appropriately and adequately so that they do not fall flat and come out with facing these emerging challenges successfully and confidently.
So, if a child born today meet you after 20 years from now, so what kind of world he would be entering?
20 years from now, this
Yeah.
means that by that time I'll be over 90. Fine. It will be a completely new world order
New world.
with different career opportunities, new skill sets, and conflict of values.
Conflict of values.
Values will be changed dramatically. That's why we are all the time saying that, of course, the cognitive skills are important, but let the child be prepared with those non-cognitive skills appropriately and accordingly, so that they do not fall flat and face that emerging situation very confidently. So that's very important, because the things will be changed so dramatically that our students should not panic, because they have been prepared with those situations much earlier when they are in the schooling days. So it is very important that we need to prepare our students accordingly and appropriately to face that situation.
Absolutely, sir. So, sir, you say that the world will be completely changed and evolved. So, if that is the world which our children, which our students are entering, so what should be the education today? Type of education we need to provide to our children today?
The very perception about education today needs to change. It should be education for life and not education for living alone.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's why I'm saying that today's education must focus more on the non-cognitive skills. And when I talk about the non-cognitive skills, it means the skills of communication, problem-solving skills, decision-making skills, creativity and innovation skills, critical thinking skills. Besides focusing on these non-cognitive skills, we have to also focus on our classroom processes, focusing more on experiential learning and lots of hands-on activities. That will definitely lead to our students in a very confident manner to face the emerging challenges.
So, books have been changed for CBSE, and the syllabus has been changed. But the way of teaching and, still we concentrate on that only, that, bookish knowledge, let children adapt that, and rote learning. How do we inculcate this critical thinking and decision making and all these qualities in children, like with our traditional way of teaching, and at the same time completion of syllabus and everything, as you mentioned, with so many things going in the teacher's head, like completion of syllabus is the first thing which always runs in the teacher's head, that we have to complete the syllabus, and there should be adequate amount of written work in the notebook, because that is what parents want to see, that how much what the school is doing, they come to know only from their notebooks. So how do we inculcate these things in our school teaching and learning both? How do we do that with this traditional kind of attitude that written work has to be maximized and still to be there, and rote learning has to be there for exams and evaluation.
Yes. Actually, we need to change the teacher's mindset because teachers are finding comfortable with the existing situation, and they sometimes ask, why do we want a change? Because everything is going smoothly. They could not realize that what will happen another 3 years, another 5 years, when most of the careers will vanish from the scenario.
Absolutely.
So it is very important that teachers' mindset, teachers need to be oriented appropriately. Rote learning, I'm not against the rote learning. We have all gone through that rote learning
Yes.
process. But NEP, National Education Policy, has clearly mentioned that rote learning is not going to help our students now in the globalized world order. We have to change it from rote learning to experiential learning. So we have to change the skill set of our teachers so that they can have these innovative pedagogies in the classroom itself. That is why National Education Policy has also mentioned that we need to have a continuous professional development of our teachers. And it also mentioned that 50 hours of training,
Yes,
continuous
training has to
training
be there.
for per teacher per academic section. Once we do this, then teachers' mindset will definitely change. So
What about
is,
the evaluation, sir? The evaluation part, when children are writing the exams and the same syllabus is coming in the exams, which the teacher has taught, and do we have to change it for like primary and for seniors? There has to be some difference. Like primary, may if it is rote learning, it is fine. Like children have to,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yes. You know, the curriculum dynamics has three facets, three domains. Curriculum design, curriculum transaction, which is called pedagogy,
जी.
and the curriculum evaluation. So before evaluations, there are two other activities also. One is the curriculum design and one is the curriculum pedagogy. And it must have a very good correlation between these three domains actually. Unless and until we change the evaluation process, assessment process, nothing is going to change.
Yes.
It means the mind part and the body part will remain the same, and we are going to change the evaluation. That cannot happen.
Yes.
So we have to change our evaluation process also accordingly. This means by changing the very blueprint and design of the question papers, so that the child do not go for a selective study. While going through the entire things, he is understanding also.
Yes.
And simultaneously, he is gaining that competency also by having the required learning outcomes. So our evaluation system also needs to change so that there is more focus on competency-based education. There is more focus on higher order thinking skills. And children are understanding also.
Yes.
Once that part becomes clear, I think we have to change our evaluation or the assessment system. Of course, we cannot have the same assessment system across the entire spectrum of school education. The National Education Policy has divided the entire 15 years of schooling into 4 stages.
Yes.
Foundational stage, prep stage, middle stage, and the secondary stage. But definitely, I will not prefer the assessment system that we are following at the secondary stage will be the same for the foundational stage. No, this is not possible. Why can't there be no examination at all at the foundational stage? Let there be no final examination. Let there be no summative examination. Entire assessment is based on the formative assessment. And there is no hype about the examination. Oh, the child in class 1 saying tomorrow is my examination day and I have to prepare it.
Yeah.
Why we create such
That
hype
stress and
about
hype.
examination at such a tender age? So our assessment pattern, we have to prepare a proper assessment framework, and our assessment pattern must change as we are moving from one stage to another stage. As I have said, that I will prefer that there will be no summative examination at foundational stage, but then I will like a summative examination appropriately, judiciously combined with the formative assessment at the preparatory stage. And then at the middle stage, we can be more focused on the summative, less focused on the formative test. And then, of course, at the secondary stage, we can decide the performance of the students on the basis of only summative examination. World over also, if you see, there is more focus on the formative assessment at the lower stage and more focus at the summative examination on the higher stage. So we have to prepare two things: proper pedagogical framework,
Yes.
15 years of schooling at different stages, and accordingly we also prepare a proper assessment strategy across different stages. And I will also prefer the why we are using only one tool, that is sit down test or paper pencil test throughout our school education. Why?
Yeah.
Why we can use the multiple tools? Because we say that children has to be holistically evaluated.
Yes.
When you say the holistic evaluation, but we are using only one tool.
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
Yeah. If
Evaluation
a child
based
is
on
very
only-
good in project, doing wonderful project work, child is doing beautiful group work, those has to be also one of the tool
Yes.
and must be mentioned, reflected in the assessment format. So what I'm saying that if we have to have a good quality education, school education, we need to have a proper pedagogical framework, proper assessment framework, and the performance of the students must not be declared on the basis of one shot or two shot terminal examination.
Yes.
We should have a 360-degree assessment system, including self-assessment, peer assessment, parental assessment,
assessment.
and must be reflected in the holistic progress card,
Yeah.
HPC.
Nowadays, schools are having those programs.
Many schools, but many schools are not doing. You know, we have about 400,000 secondary education in India. And it gives me immense pain when I say that about 90% of our schools are still at education 1.0 level. And we are talking today of industry 5.0. That is the fifth industrial revolution because of AI. If we have to upgrade our school to education 4.0 level or the education 5.0 level, I think all our types of school, be it a government one or a aided one or a Kendriya Vidyalayas, everyone I think must implement this, that we have a proper assessment framework, proper assessment strategy, and the children's holistic assessment are being done and reflected in the that HPC, Holistic Progress Card.
Right. Sir. Do you think that school should focus less on teaching children what to think rather than and focus more on how to think?
Yes. First of all, I think we need to develop a thinking culture
Yes.
in our schools. And the second, what type of thinking and how to think becomes very important. Because if we continue to have lower order thinking, then it will serve no purpose. Innovations and the creativity will die and nothing will happen. And our schools now cannot survive in tomorrow's world with their 3R: repetition, restriction, and regimentation. We need to inculcate a higher order thinking, which includes, of course, the creativity, the critical thinking, interpretation, analysis, synthesis. So it is very important the type of thinking and what kind of thinking, that how to think, and so that thinking goes with the philosophy or the vision of the school. Otherwise, what will happen, as I have mentioned earlier, that as most of the school are still at education 1.0 level, they will not be in a position to upgrade themselves 2.0 or 3.0. So type of thinking, proper thinking, a positive thinking will definitely put schools at a higher level.
So, do you think that order of thinking depends on the background from which the child is coming from? Like, if the parents are not that well educated and, the child is there, so how can we inculcate higher order thinking to such children who do not have any support from the family side? Like,
See, that I think we need to stop now blaming the parents actually for every ills in our education system.
Absolutely.
As I have already said, the most important thing that we have to develop a thinking culture. And when you say that a thinking culture in the school means whether we have a thinking teacher, whether we have a thinking school head. Once this is happening, naturally that environment will automatically create a thinking students also. So unless and until we inculcate that mindset by the people who are running the schools, I think we can train. I think I will not blame that as they are first generation learners, as their parents are not well educated. We cannot improve these things. I
I think
think,
they're more hardworking and more.
yeah, we have to stop now this thinking. That's why I'm saying what type of thinking, how to think. Stop this negative thinking and let have a positivity. Of course, we will have a higher order thinking skill. We will implement in very phased manner.
Yeah.
We will not go for that very top higher thing where we have to create, where we have to interpret. No, let us have a something that let the situation be given and let the child interpret those things.
So,
And,
what percentage of like questions do you think that we should put for high order thinking?
everything, my philosophy that whenever we have to put those hot questions in the question paper, we need to put a small step. Let us have a few questions. I will not say percentage right now in the question paper, and let we see how children actually attempt those questions.
No, sir, maybe in the
My-
question paper, but when we are teaching also,
Ha.
while we are teaching, how much we should focus on
Yes,
high?
content part. As I have
Yes.
said, that the curriculum design and the curriculum
Yes.
transaction. Unless and until we put this thing in the curriculum design, this with our reference material textbooks, we cannot ask questions in the assessment part
Yes.
actually. So I will prefer, let us put a small step and try to win that situation. My philosophy always that win small but win often. So let us initially, we have say about 10 to 15% things of horse higher order in curriculum design and transaction also, and accordingly also in a gradual manner increasing. Let's have a 10 to 15% of question on horse, say at the middle stage, 6, 7, 8, gradually increasing to 15%, 9 and 10, and to 20% in class 11 and 12.
Yeah.
Start with a small and try to win that. Instead of taking a big project, 50% question are from horse, and our students fall flat because this is
Yeah.
not being taught in the classroom itself.
Exactly.
So let us gradually put into our curriculum design, that is content part, put it in transaction part also, so that children do understand the things, what horse means, and then also accordingly we ask in the assessment part also certain questions. So I would prefer to begin with 15 to 20% of things in the entire curriculum dynamics, from design, pedagogy to evaluation.
And not necessarily so that we have taught that question. If we have taught them how to think, they can, I think they'll be able to crack any question which is.
No, it's not the question of taught. Earlier, if you see the blueprint, the design of the question paper, we used to ask a simple questions that what is Ohm's law?
Yeah.
So what that teachers used to dictate the questions in the classroom, not telling them what is Ohm's law means and what is his actual extension and application. They just dictate, okay, write down the definition of Ohm's law. And then they say, well, I am dictated this way, and this you just cram it. And whenever it is being question being asked in the, just pour it actually in the answer script.
So, looking back at decades of your experience of observing students, have you ever seen a student who was an average performer becoming an extraordinary performer?
Yes. In fact, if you are telling about my experience, I have found that those who are seconds in their school education, they have actually excelled in life later on.
Wow.
So what I'm saying that marks is important, but that's not important that on the basis of marks you will get success in your life. There are certain qualities
Yes.
that you have to pursue. And the three qualities that I have found most important, who later on thrive in their life. One is humility. One is the humility. Second is the spirituality. Believe in your core values. And that can only happen when you are pursue this spirituality. And the third is the moral confidence. These three qualities actually help us to remain in focus, persistence, and perseverance. I often say to the students, if you have fallen down 7 times, stand up 8. It gives a beautiful relationship between success and failure, telling them one who fights the last round can never be defeated. That's my feeling.
Amazing, sir. So, what three qualities or capabilities you think that will be the most important for students over 20 years from now, and which is the least we are attentive to?
Yes, there are many capabilities we need to have, but the three qualities that I found most important. One, do not underestimate yourself. The child should never underestimate himself. Believe in yourself, your potential. Yes, you are as good as the best of any other school students. So do not underestimate yourself. That is number one. Number two, do not get rooted in your comfort zones. The easiest thing in life is to create a set of coordinates and to remain within that coordinate.
Yes.
To come out from your comfort zones to get success later on in your life. And number third, do not hold grudges against anybody. Learn to forgive. That attitude of forgiveness, that attitude of gratitude, these are very important attitudinal realignment, which is necessary to get success later on in life.
So, how are we learning these qualities in the school?
We have to create that value-based climate in our school.
Yes.
And we need not have a separate period or separate book for this. These values has to be integrated in an interdisciplinary manner across all subjects. If a teacher is taking up geography, teacher is taking up history or mathematics, he must know what values are actually put into it. Because you know that values are not taught, it has to be caught.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes, so that's why it is essential that teachers must know what, while taking up a particular lesson, what values the students will learn out of this chapter. Of course, that needs a skill and that needs proper empowerment also, which we need to give to them, to the teachers.
Yes. Values cannot be taught, they have to be caught.
Sir,
do you believe that curiosity is becoming more valuable now than memorization?
Yes, because you know that what is memorization? Memorization is a repetitive learning.
Yes.
Wasting a lot of time in cramming that things. We have wasted also many times just cramming those things.
Yes.
So it is a repetitive learning and it is of no use now in tomorrow's world.
Because everything is there on...
Yes, everything is
AI
available.
will give you everything, all the knowledge.
What is important, of course, children should have the natural curiosity to learn more, why it is happening so. Natural curiosity, reasonable imagination, which will lead to innovations and entrepreneurship later on.
Yes.
And ability to think. That's why parents do send the kids to the school. Otherwise, homeschooling, they can do it.
Yes.
To learn this, to continue with this curiosity, natural curiosity, to have imagination, to have good communication, to have thinking ability, they are sending the kids to the school, and the school must provide that learning space to the students. Yes. There are certain soft skills also, which is necessary. These are what we talk about the hard skills. There are certain soft skills also, like the ethical fiber, being a team player, calm and composed in most provocative situation. So hard skills plus soft skills makes our students emotionally empowered, which is a very important skills, emotional skills in tomorrow's life.
Yes. So do you think that students are getting into the school more curious? They are very curious when they enter the school, but when they leave the school, they are afraid of being wrong or being judged of being wrong.
Yes. No, naturally the students are very curious. But when we have put them in a wall-like, jail-like situation, 4 walls of a classroom, and there is only a prescriptive model of teaching and learning, You cannot think whatever has been imposed from the top. Students are giving this instruction, you have to learn within that also. Then all curiosity is lost. So children must be allowed to explore, must be allowed to engage themselves. Unless and until we put them in engagement, exploration, you cannot start the classroom process just with explaining everything.
Yes. Let them read themselves and
Yeah, let the children be allowed time to imagine, to think about it, and then start thinking also, reflecting also.
Yes.
Reflection, articulation, questioning, these are very important things.
absolutely.
That's why I will often prefer that the innovative classrooms, how they look like. An innovative classroom is like that, students working in groups, exploring and engaging. Of course, there is support by the teachers as and when necessary, scaffolding.
Scaffolding.
Then there
yeah.
should be open-ended learning. Nothing is imposed from the top. Students are free to discuss, to debate. And then after the end of the project, students are ready
Yes.
for reflection, articulation, elaboration, and even presentation.
Yes. That's
That's
how
it.
we can channelize their energy also, sir. Because
Yes.
nowadays children are so energetic. If the teacher is speaking and the child is only listening, so and his energy is not being channeled.
Students often say there is no point in going to the school. I'm like, why? Why? So my teachers start repeating. They have already gone through that. Yes, you give them extra. You give them something, enrichment.
Yeah.
Why are repetition, restriction, and regimentation are three bad R in our school system. We have to remove these three R. Then only then our students can flourish and can be competitive in their globalized situation.
Great, sir. So we are entering an age of artificial intelligence where the AI is generating all the answers. They are solving our problems. They are articulating our, the projects, the posts, the content which we want. Everything is on AI, and it is of great help also. So how can we make our children irreplaceable? Like, since AI is doing everything for us.
Yes, artificial intelligence is very important, and also it will going to replace the many of our jobs. But what I am visualizing that simultaneously we have to develop human intelligence also
Yes.
to lead and work alongside AI. I will even prefer that human intelligence must lead in an AI-enabled world, and not the vice versa.
Yes.
That artificial intelligence should dominate the human intelligence. When I say that it is human intelligence, what are the things that human intelligence I'm talking of? So, of course, the emotional skills, ethical skills, and social skills. This has to be developed in our curriculum dynamics.
Yes.
And also we have to build the cross-functional employability skills alongside the cognitive skills and the human intelligence. Then only our students will be successful in the highly competitive world tomorrow.
Yes. Amazing. Something which AI cannot have.
Yes.
That we have to
Yes.
make it
Yes.
strong.
Human intelligence to lead in the AI-enabled world. My vision is that
Yes.
we can do that actually.
Yes.
Provided we have to change our mindset, our heart set, and our skill set. If we're not going to change those things,
Yes.
nothing is going to happen.
Absolutely.
That repetitive exercise will not do any good for.
Yeah.
We are,
Right, sir. So, if you were 13 years old today, what would you spend more time learning and less time, of worrying about?
yes, I would have loved to be again a teenager, so that I do not commit any mistakes that I have committed earlier.
Okay.
And I would also like to learn more because of the explosion of knowledge
Yes.
which is happening right now.
Yes.
I must make it very clear that it is a beautiful world. And in this beautiful world, there is no place for stress tension, or anxiety. In fact, I will go a little bit further and say that stress, tension, and anxiety are weeds in stagnant water, and which has to be replaced by hard work, focused attention, and resign to the higher will. Our students need to work hard, but don't expect the result. You resign to that result, to the higher will, to your God. So I would have loved to, of course, to explore, which I could not have in my days,
Yeah.
to engage myself. And I would have also liked an education stakeholder also to provide that environment. Because if our children are to be busy or worried with curriculum load, with language policy,
Yes.
with examination results, and with board examination, then I think the innovations and creativity will be loser. They cannot put it anything. So we cannot create that situation. And I must continue to tell the teachers that there is no curriculum load. You only think that you focus on your things, you continue to do the hard work, and of course the result will be all okay, and you can believe in the God and put it that result part and resign to higher will actually. That type of things I think we need to recreate. I would have loved to create that situation.
So what do you think? What is that one skill which school should, start teaching from tomorrow, which it has been ignored till now?
Yeah, I think I will put communication skills,
Communication skills.
because you know that I belong to the 20th century mindset where science dominated. Everyone was aspiring for the science subject.
Yes.
But I am telling you one thing, that the 21st century will belong to humanities. And when you talk of the humanities, the language becomes very important. The proficiency in language, in communication, becomes a very important thing in the tomorrow's world. So, communication skills is very important, and we need to ensure, I think, I will say, the STEAM, that in our classroom process, the science, the technology, the arts, engineering, and then the mathematics, and also the 21st century skills also. So we would like to start building that communication skills from very early, and that is why in the National Education Policy it said that the linguistic competency must be completed in the foundational stage itself, so that they enter into the class 3, they are proficiency in the language and the literature. Communication skills seems to be the important aspect.
So in education, what matters most? Accuracy, transparency, or trust?
See, there are, in any education system, whether we are doing for the pedagogy or we are doing for the assessment, the three things that is important. The one is the reliability, validity, and the credibility. And it can happen only when you have put the trust. The trust is the most important thing. And in order to build trust, in order to have trust, one should have 3 C's in them: competence, confidence, and the character. Similarly, in the classroom process also, the teacher must remember the 4 words: love, respect, care, and the trust. So trust is a very important thing in, I think, educational process. I will definitely put my bet on trust.
So if you were entrusted for redesigning the education system of 2026, what would be the one thing which you want to remove?
The one thing that I would like to remove is that doing away with the present examination system, where performance is determined by one shot or 2 shot terminal examination, and there is focus only on marks and marks only. So much of hype is created about the marks. Of course, we need to have another system which we can give in a thought to it. And the one thing that I would like to add,
Yeah.
allowing the children to have a lab exposure as early as possible from class 3 onwards, which is not happening right now.
Yeah.
Why? It will then lead to hands-on activities, which are very, very important. And also it will then further lead to skill educations later on. So I would like to have the laboratory exposure. You know that we often follow in India the deductive learning process. I will prefer a inductive learning. Then in a laboratory, you are given a situation whether students are observing, looking into it, why it is happening so, then thinking about it, then analyzing it, then coming out with his own or her remarks. So laboratory exposure is one aspect which I will definitely like to add in our system.
Amazing. I hope we inculcate
Yes.
this. So, children today are experiencing something which the earlier generations have not experienced, that is the constant comparisons. Marks are compared, achievements are compared, even their lives are compared. So, what concerns you most about this trend?
Yes, Neha, this is very unfortunate. And in fact, I will go a little bit further that today's students' growth are restricted by three bad C's. One is definitely comparison, second is the compulsion, and third is the competition. You know that every student is unique, and every student are unequal also.
Yes.
We cannot compare the two students in the same class for any reason because comparisons can only be done between equals and not between unequals. And comparison should be replaced by feelings. Okay, you have got this much of marks, you are as good as the one who has got the 90% marks. By feelings. Comparison should be replaced by feelings. Compulsion should be replaced by choice. Give them the all choice. Every student may not be
Good in
fluent in many
academics.
things. They have other talent also.
Yes.
And the competition should be replaced by collaboration. Unless and until we change this mindset, I think nothing is going to improve school education in India.
Absolutely, sir. How can parents encourage excellence without creating the fear?
Yes. Actually, this is a myth. And the parents need to understand that excellence is inversely proportional to fear or the anxiety.
Yes.
Because if you create fear in any situation, then learning will not happen. Instead, I will like that parents need to regulate, reform, and restrict the use of electronics at their home. And parents need to encourage their children, their kids, regularly, constantly, so that the children can have the 2H, high energy and happiness. We need to do that. So instead of creating any fear psychosis, instead of creating which can retard their growth, we need to motivate our kids so that they can reach to their fullest potential.
Yes. And what is the biggest mistakes well-educated parents make while raising their children?
The belief about the parent that every child can crack JE or NEET or the CAT examinations. Every child cannot do that. Because the parents wants to push their unfulfilled ambition to their children, to their kids.
Yes.
They forget that your child is not you, or they have taken birth in another time. So it will be better that parents, every child has talent, there's no about it. Parents need to look into the inherent talent that is latent in every child, and then look into their aptitude, their attitude, and after communicating with them, find their altitude. So communication is becoming very important. Parents need to communicate with their kids regularly,
Yes.
religiously, and daily. And it will
Absolutely.
solve many problems.
Many problems, yes. We need to connect with our child as a parent, as a teacher.
If you are stop communicating with them, then there is an emotional shutdown.
Yes.
And then there will be neither the caring, nor the sharing,
Nothing
and
at
not
all.
the solving any problems.
Absolutely.
It will be a mutual frustration policy. Both sides will be frustrated.
Yeah, right, sir. So, what would you like every child listening to this conversation to hear today?
Okay. I will say to the children that they are lucky enough that they are looking into the transformative phase of humanity.
Humanity, yes.
So I will tell them that they need to remain, of course, in focus, very firm in attitude. And I do not know the steps which, if they would have pursued, they will become successful in their life. But I know the steps. If they follow, they will not be unsuccessful in their attempt.
Yes.
So those
And
steps
those
are,
steps.
of course, there are 5 steps. Inspiration. Children need to be inspired. Inspiration. Aspiration. The aim must be very, very clear. Perspiration. There is no alternative to sheer hard work.
Yes.
And
possible.
4th is the introspection. Know your attitude, know your aptitude, introspect yourself and find your altitude. And last is the resignation. You continue to the hard work, but for result, you resign to the higher will. I think your life will be very meaningful, very successful, and you will be happy also.
And what would you like every teacher in India to hear today, sir, from you?
I would like to say to the teachers that be a great teacher and not just a good teacher.
Yes.
A great teacher, read a lot, learn a lot, listen a lot, run a lot, laugh a lot, appreciate a lot, and shout a lot also.
Right, sir.
So the teachers need to care for their children. There is a proverb also that if the teacher care well for their children, they will fare well in their life. So I will prefer the teachers must practice educating and not
Educating.
educating alone. In the educating, there is education, and caring is both are mixed. In educating, it is purely education.
Education.
So they need to practice
Educate.
educating in order to become standout teacher, a great teacher.
So, what has education taught you about the human potential that surprised you the most?
I believe that every student carries untapped possibilities which any test score cannot measure. My experience has reaffirmed that human potential is not meant to be measured, but to be discovered,
Yes.
to be nurtured, and to be allowed to flourish. I have seen the immense potential of human being, which I think our normal evolution system has failed to indicate. So it cannot be measured. It has to be only you can feel it, and you need to discover it, and then accordingly nurture and develop them.
Do you have any experience to share, sir?
Yes, I can tell some of the great persons also, but in my life also, I have served a child, very poor child, all the time being castigated. उनके parents भी उनको कहते तुमसे कुछ नहीं होगा, तुम क्या निकले हो, 50-55% मार्क्स आता था, बहुत इमोशनली बड़ा एकदम लो डाउन रहता था कि उसके फ्रेंड्स भी बहुत अच्छे नहीं थे ही, किंतु उसका एक चीज बहुत अच्छा था, आई हैव टू बिकम समथिंग डिफरेंट. While doing the graduation, he started earning also because he belongs to a very poor family. और इसको करते करते उसके पास इतना इमेंस पोटेंशियल था कि आज ही इज ए वेरी सक्सेसफुल एंटरप्रेन्योर वर्किंग इन यूएसए. ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ टर्नओवर. सो ये ऐसे एग्जाम्पल्स है. हमारे एग्जामिनेशन सिस्टम टोटली फेल्ड टू tap that immense potential. So I think you can only feel it actually. Only thing that आप अगर अच्छे जोहरी है तो आपने उसको पहचान लिया है. Put them in a proper track and they will definitely excel. ऐसे कई examples हैं. Normal test में ये चीज़ आपको उजागर नहीं होगा.
जी. If every parent, every teacher and every student is listening to you today, then what would be the one quality which you think that should be nurtured in a way that they can thrive in future?
I will say adaptability.
Adaptability.
In fact, I will say that accountability and adaptability. But as you have said, one quality, so I'm focusing only on the adaptability.
Okay, sir.
That is very important, which will help in having appropriate attitudinal realignment in the person. And what attitudinal realignment I'm talking is about the attitude of forgiveness. I've already mentioned earlier also. Attitude of gratitude.
Yes.
Attitude of non-criticism. And attitude of happiness for small things in life.
We need to
which will go a long way actually in building appropriate mindsets and heart sets that will help us to thrive in any situation.
Yes.
So that attitudinal realignment is very necessary. It can happen only when we have that skills of adaptability. We need to adapt in any situation, then only we can be successful.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, your experience and your vision with us. We are truly blessed.
Thank you.
Thank
you,
you
Neha.
so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Today's conversation reminds us that while the future cannot be predicted, it can be prepared for. Not through more information alone, but through curiosity, through adaptability, through resilience, through character, and through a lifelong willingness to learn. Perhaps the goal of education is not simply to prepare children for a particular examination, a particular career, or a particular moment. Perhaps the goal is to prepare them for a lifetime of growth, contribution, and continuous evolution. And to everyone listening, the future belongs not to those who know everything, it belongs to those who never stop learning. This is Neha Sharma, and you are listening to Podcast Vibe with Neha. Thank you for joining us.